Well. We had the revelation of Sheriff Conley's true intentions several episodes ago. The fact that the sheriff is in with the Rakudushi. And well, now Malcolm has learned from Daikon that good old Mack, his boss at the FBI, is involved with the compound as well. As Malcolm learned, Daikon was like, "Oh, Mack, he's with us." Okay, look, I'm not going to say this is bullshit, this is stupid, because I have a feeling that the show will indeed explain in detail how this is possible. But I will say this much. Learning what we've learned, that the cartel, Lilo, who's the son of, I believe, a senator or congressman or something along those lines. We know that Rakudushi members, typically the women, are, pretty much given up as prostitutes, escorts, if you will, for these politicians. So basically, you got the Rakudushi compound, who's used as a way to funnel or money laundering for the cartels. But then, the women are given to like these politicians and whatnot. So there's that. And then in terms of law enforcement, you got the sheriff in the local area who's involved with them as well. But it gets to the point of like the haves and have-nots where, Candace would screw around with like, businessmen and, street level politicians like judges or, even mayors and governors, that kind of thing. Like, Jim Crow was trying to be governor of Georgia. He was a judge prior to that. And it's just one of those things where Candace messing around with men on that level is believable, because there are a lot of scandals and whatnot of, governors or, what do they call it? Like, state level executives, that kind of stuff. That makes sense. That's believable. But when you jump the shark from that level to president-elect, like they did in the haves and have-nots, that's when it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Now, in the Ruthless series, again, local county-level sheriff, the son of a politician's involved with cartel and money laundering, believable. But then when you get to FBI level, I kind of roll my eyes. But to be completely honest, I remember way back in season 1 when Tally got to Richard and Nancy's house and revealed that, no, you can't call the cops because some of the cops are in with the Rakudushi. And I'm like, the way Tyler's building this up, who's to say there aren't Rakudushi members in the White House? I mean, it's quite possible, due to the fact that there's a lot of bigger things that I feel will be revealed in the future. And of course, again, we learned through Lilo and then his father, whoever that is, and the list goes on. Who's to say, like, just throwing it out there, remember that Hunter's father-in-law was giving him a list of different people he would recommend for, like, his cabinet and things like that. What if one of the politicians on that list was Lilo's father? Just throwing it out there. It's just one of those things where I could see Mack being involved, which would throw off a lot of things, like, Sam continuously calling about, getting help, getting Barry's daughter, but then the whole, I got a man on the inside. So if Mack is the person that Sam was talking to, keep in mind, it was never mentioned that it was Mack. Sam would just get his briefcase with that special phone on the inside of it stating that he was calling his contact at the FBI. So if it was Mack, then he's been giving, Sam, stale breadcrumbs, so to speak. But at the same time, what sense does it make to have Andrew in there? I mean, obviously it's probably a situation where there's been so many abductions and whatnot, missing person reports, that they couldn't ignore it. So Mack would look suspicious by not putting a man on the job. But, he said, like, what, Andrew's one of, if not, like, his top agent, so he's sent in there. And Daikon knowing that Mack is involved, but then not knowing that Andrew, well, he's always suspected Andrew, But the fact that he didn't know Andrew was FBI raises a lot of questions. Like, why would Mack tell you that? Like, if Mack is really in with you, why wouldn't he tell them that, hey, here's this guy who's coming in there who's part of it? It's kind of in the same way like Mack told Sheriff Conley like Brian was going to be stationed at his police station as a deputy working for the FBI. So Conley, who's in with the Rakudushi, you know, he knows via Mack. So again, there are missing puzzle pieces here. So hopefully the show, as it moves forward, actually, you know, puts into pieces. Because if Mack is really with the Rakudushi, it contradicts something that Sheriff Conley told Brian when he was, you know, ganged up on by Daikon and the soldiers about the whole thing about, hey, every time you made a call to FBI headquarters, I would scramble the call from the, you know, the police station. But it's like, well, Conley, you work with the Rakudushi. And if Mack works with the Rakudushi, even if Brian called him, I mean, wouldn't he like just not do anything? But then you could also make the argument, well, Jeremy, just because Conley works with the Rakudushi doesn't mean he knows everybody involved with the Rakudushi. How do we know Mack and Conley aren't like aware of each other? I don't know. Not to mention, it doesn't seem efficient to send in some of your best guys on a suicide mission when you think about it, because if Mack is really involved with the Rakudushi, then here's my thing. It could go back to what Mack was telling Andrew when he was covering up Sarah's murder, and that I don't know if you should go back. Or maybe it was the time before when Andrew snuck into his bedroom and he was like, sir, you know, I'm going back in. I just need a little more time. Because I think at that point, Mack was like, don't you have enough to shut that place down already? And I think it was one of those things where I just have enough to really just get a slap on the wrist. Like, you know, it's not enough information that Andrew had at the time to put the Rakudushis out of business for good, but just enough to like temporarily, you know, put them behind bars, if that, because eventually they'll get out and just start over all over again. So it's, I don't know, was Daikon bluffing? Because it was just one of those things where, you know, Malcolm was talking trash, and the fact that, oh man, you got me, you know, in this cooler and everything, but wait till the feds come down here and, you know, they'll get your ass and whatnot. Well, Mack is with us. It's like, what? And it's like, yeah, like, you're not even supposed to be here, Malcolm. What? So I don't know. Malcolm is still in disbelief that Mack is with them, but I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like I said, let's wait and see if the season, you know, the rest of the season puts in the rest of the puzzle pieces. But I'm semi-skeptical. There are just some things that just don't add up unless Tyler wanted to change things up as the story progressed to, you know, make it more dramatic. But it, on the one hand, it could be suspenseful and dramatic when those you thought were allies were actually working against you, but then other times it feels completely forced. So I don't know, guys. We'll just have to wait and see, because remember, there have been plenty of times where Mack was like, Andrew, you need to get out of there, or Brian, move away before you get shot or these kids get killed. Could it be Mack trying to preserve his best agents, him playing his role too good? Or maybe the likes of Brian and or Andrew getting a bit too close and finding evidence to shut down the Rakudushis for good, because if the Rakudushi shut down, that could mean he loses some money. I don't know. But do you think Mack is really part of the Rakudushi organization, or do you think Daikon was just bluffing? I don't know. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button to show you liked the video. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit subscribe and hit that bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel.